I truly believe now, the less I work, the more money I make. When we're born into scarcity and lack, you have to work hard. And if you want more, work harder, because, rich people are greedy and they're just lazy because they hire other people to do the things when you can just do it yourself. Or work harder, save the money, but then you're costing time. And truly, wealthy people buy time. And I've learned that. I've hit a point where, I'm even at a point where when it gets so good, even though I still have bigger financial goals, I'm like, but I have this time and I have more than enough money. Like, holy shit, here I am thinking I needed the multi-millions in the bank before I could feel like this. But now it's like, that's going to come anyway as a byproduct, because I know I already feel like that because I've changed my beliefs. Like, I truly believe now, the less I work, the more money I make.
Welcome to another episode of Spill the Tea with Kirsty and Bo. And Bo is still hanging out with the monks right now, but he will be back next week. We are very, very excited. We have the most incredible Kim Kent here. If you haven't heard her name, you need to go and search her up. She is the lady that is disrupting the world around money talk, the way you view money, how you see money, and she is creating massive changes in this industry. Welcome to the podcast, beautiful girl. How are we?
Hey, thank you. Great. Excited to spill the tea. This is so
love
good.
It. Love. So we're just going to dive straight in and just get into conversation. So before we get into where you are now, because we've all got an incredible story, let's hear about Kim Kent. What's your background? Where did you come from? How did you get into here? Who is Kim Kent before she was Kim Kent, this Kim Kent?
Well, I actually had a different last name because Kim Kent is my married name, but it worked so well.
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot get divorced because Kim Kent is literally my brand.
It is your brand. It's your identity now, KK. You cannot, you can't lose it. Sorry.
Look, even on Valkyrie, my maiden name is Tyack, so it's Kim Tyack.
Okay.
But anyway,
Kent works well.
Love my husband, not getting divorced, FYI, in case anyone's worried. So, born into lower to middle class family. I love we have both had this chat outside of a recording where we literally grew up in the same, both grew up in the hood, we grew up in the hood. There was a lot of struggle and stress in my whole life, my whole childhood, but very much so around money. I'm a child of divorce. My parents divorced when I was 9 and I'm firstborn. So I, took on a lot of that. I became the messenger between my parents for child support. Painting this picture, I know my parents were just doing the absolute best they could, right, with all their stuff. But there actually was a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional trauma, a lot of instability in my life, and just so much around the lack of money. Our life revolved around money, but there was never any of it. It was it didn't make sense, really. So I was this high achiever, needed constant validation, needed to be the best, all these things because, I was so driven from this, I'm not enough. And what that did was, I wasn't conscious of this when I was a kid, but what that did was put me through the whole, I've got to go to university. I've got to get the degree because that's what's going to make me successful. And I actually always knew I wanted to be financially successful because I never wanted to struggle like my parents did. I didn't want that pain. So I was very driven my whole childhood, my whole adolescence and early 20s, very driven by avoiding the pain that I was in. I was always in that pain. So I did the uni thing. I got 2 degrees because I was double the degree, double the money.
But also it's not even double the degree or double the money. It's I'm worth it. It's that proving as well,
that I actually literally, I'm in my office right now. Those degrees that I got 10 years ago, still in the same envelope. Didn't even take them out and have them all. I won't get rid of them because they cost 40 grand. Paper are worth something financially. But I did that and I couldn't actually get a job because as an exercise physiologist, it was very new. I was competing with physiotherapists who had a bigger scope of practice. So I should have just done the whole physio thing, really. So I did all the things you were meant to do. I followed, I was in that paradigm of that's what you do. That's what you got to do to be successful. And at 24, I fell into business. I fell into network marketing space as a business. So I learned how to build an online business from someone who knew nothing about business. And the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship is you're kind of forced into personal development. So I frothed it, like Tony Robbins, Les Browns were in my ear. Like before Spotify, we were like binging YouTube. YouTube's on repeat, after the ads, not paying. I could never pay for it.
Like couldn't afford the premium version yet, but
all free stuff. Do you know what? I took the business to the top. I hit the top rank purely to prove people wrong that I can actually do this. But this is like, it's the ironic part, I guess. I was 26, making $100,000 a year. I got a $4,000 bonus for hitting it. I had no mortgage, no kid, no husband. Still broke as fuck. Like I was still, it's not enough. I don't feel like it's enough. I'm not enough. It needs to be better. Keep pushing. And I was burning out. And we know, especially as mums, when you're in your 30s, like in your 20s, you're not burning out. You should not be burning out.
Yeah.
So that was like my turning point to go and start healing my relationship with money and all the things. And I guess, so that's who I was, where I came from, all that pain and struggle. To do that, once we deep dive into the healing, finally decided I was worthy enough to actually spend money on myself.
Can I just ask you, before you get to that part, like what was the turning point in that moment where you're like, fuck, like I've done everything right now. I've made the $100,000, but why am I still fucking broke? Like what was the deciding moment? Like, all right, this is more than money. This is something far deeper than money.
Well, I was there for a good year where I was still in like the self-righteous, I'm fine, you'll be fine. And I actually was like kind of introduced to my first coach and they ran seminars and I went to all the free stuff, like would have been their lead magnet, their top of funnel. And you got enough out of it. But I hit a point and I don't know, I would know, let me think. There was a mixture of things where I knew I would have decided that I know I'm going to do it, but I still was scared to spend the money. So I was like a year of like there was always the excuse, like because we did the wedding, we had the wedding. There was just other things, and then it hit a point, and we're about to literally one-way ticket to Canada. So that was in the October. In the September, I went and did their top of funnel, their weekend seminar, and I was actually just going to do their first seminar, but then I went to pay for that, and then I'd like fuck it, I'm going to do the whole thing, which was $21,000. So I was about to invest $21,000 as we were about to go on a one-way ticket to Canada, dropping down to one income. Obviously they were great at selling, as all good coaches are, but I just knew as a point, I was like, if I don't fucking do this now, like when? But it was about a year. I was still in that like year of deciding, if that makes sense. I think I just had to be in that, like now I know better and now I can see my options and technically I can afford it, but let's still not do it. And then that got so painful because you're literally in that limbo. Like, you pull the new identity while trying to stay safe, it was even more uncomfortable. If that makes
100%. Totally get it. And I think that's like it's almost like split personality. It's like, I know where I'm going, but then the old P is like, oh, but $21,000, like I can't afford that. And this is where people get it so wrong. And I say it a million times over, my brother's doing the same thing. The moment he's like, oh, when I get this, I'll then get a coach. And I'm like, no, you get the coach first and then you're going to get the money. Like go and mirror someone who's got to where you want to go to get there faster. And then you'll make the money back. Always. You're always going to put yourself in a better room, better people, better coaches, people that are doing the things, so it's just so crazy. And that part is sticky. It is sticky, especially when maybe you are making some money, but then you're too scared to use the money, but then you'll spend it on dumb shit anyway. And then you're like, oh my God, why don't I just buy the course? I've just like gone out for dinner and had Uber Eats and watched Netflix and stuff like that where I could have invested in myself.
Yes. That's definitely where it got, because I was like, where the fuck is all my money going? And that was when I first started around, it was life coaching, right? Because money is just one area of your life and money just reflects you internally and your mind. Mm-hmm. But we did things specific to money. And that's when I did the audit. That's when I went and looked at all my spendings. And in that last 12 months, I spent, and this is before Danny and I had not joined our incomes. Yeah, because I was still too afraid to join incomes, but we've been married. We've been married for 6 months, but I did the 12-month audit. Out of that 100 grand, $9,000 at BWS and Liquorland. So the bottle shop.
No way.
And maybe I paid for Daniel's beer trip, but he would buy shit too. That wasn't the pub. That was a different category. And I'm like, $300 a week. I was a stinge. I was buying yellow ticketed, like anything $10 or under wine, which would mean 20 bottles of wine a week. And I know for a fact, like I would die if I had 20 bottles of wine. So what the fuck? Like, what was I buying? Like, it doesn't make sense. But that's where I was feeding alcohol, some clothes, not even nice clothes, entertainment, like pub dinners out. That's where all my money was going. So I'm like, well, if I can, like, look, I wasn't going to cut. And this is what I'll tell. This is some advice right now. Don't cut out the $9,000 of wine. Like, still allocate if you love the wine, but just allocate.
Yes.
If I only need $4,000 a year for wine, and that's roughly how many bottles a week, like free up $5,000 to reinvest.
Yeah. And it's also, I suppose, it's intentional buying. It's actually be intentional, because if you're intentional with your money, you'll be intentional with your time. And if you're intentional with your time, then you'll be intentional with your family. And so how we do one thing is how we do everything. I'll say 1,000,000 times over. That's why, like, even when I do money resets within our community, I'm like, it's nothing to do with the money. And then I'll go straight back to, like, no, I bet you treating the money the same way you treat relationships. And I had one person like burst into tears. And she was like, oh my fucking God, it's all making sense now. I said, yeah, it's never about the actual thing that you think it's about. It's the other things that it's about, which here's your reality right now, you know?
It's with the reflection. And I actually love this. I knew our topic, wherever was going to open up the conversation. Because money, we think we need to control the money. And yes, to a degree, consciously, to keep ourselves feeling stable on a conscious level, we want to feel in control, right? So yes, we think we have to control the tangible money, but money just reflects, money is just like the symbol and it's tangible, but now it's not even really, unless you're living off cash all the time, it's all digital.
Yes.
You know, it's not reflecting you inside. So if you have trust issues, which all of us grown up in scarcity, we all have issues with money.
Yeah.
And that usually shows up in the relationship.
Yeah.
Shows up in your friendships. Why am I so competitive with my friend? Like, where's the sisterhood? Or maybe you have that, but everyone, it will show up in the different areas, but you'll feel the same to everyone.
Feel the same. Yes, this is exactly right. And you'll feel it in your body. And it's very interesting because me and Bora have very two different mindsets around money. And it comes from our parents. And so his one is, when we're like, holy shit, fuck, we couldn't afford this, he would be like, all right, we need to pull back. We need to save here. We need to do this. Well, and I'm like, no, you need to get the fuck out there and work. Like, work more. Like, get more money. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't pull back. Like, that's not going to give me hundreds of thousands of dollars in. Like, get more money. And so for a long time, we were always in this pattern of like battling. And it's actually very interesting, and interesting that you're coming at this time, because Bo's been away for a month. And this month has been the most inflow, easiest month on all levels, on my energy. Yeah, sorry, but I love him to bits. But it's also like, I was so burnt out, up and down. I'd like go hard out and all these things. And it was reflecting the relationship, my kids, my hometown, all that kind of stuff. And then since he's been away, like, my old pattern would be dive into work. That's what I do. When things are a little bit challenging or hard, I work harder, I get better, I go to the gym more, I get fitter, all the things. And I started off day one doing that. And then after 3 days, I was like, you know what, I'm fucking tired and I'm not doing this. And I started to just feel like, no, I don't feel like working today. And that's not my normal. And that's when I know the system was broken for me. Like, I've broken the patterns and I've broken free. But this month, the month he's gone, like, we will clear almost $150,000 this month. It has been wild. That's energy. That is fucking energy. Like, everything has changed. And that's why I love in this conversation with someone like you, because you're not only doing money coaching, But you're talking about it on such a deeper level that no one wants to talk about. It's not all about like blueprints and follow this system and invest here. None of that is going to stick. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe to receive, if it's running outdated programs, if your parents' beliefs are installed inside of you and all that kind of stuff, which is exciting to get to your next level about what we're about to talk about now, because it was around you doing the fucking healing. That's what cracked you open.
I honestly had to, do you know what? It came down to, and it took a bit to get there, and it will make sense to people who've done the work. And if you haven't done the work, it might seem like holy fucking shit, or like that's so deep. And it will scare you because your subconscious is like, I don't want to go there because I'm safe in my discomfort right now. But after peeling back layers, at the end of the day, I actually just had to learn that Mummy and Daddy loved me. Yeah. And that I actually am worthy. I'm worthy of love. Mummy and Daddy love me, and I'm worthy of their love. And it starts with Mum and Dad's love, and whoever was Mum and Dad for you, because they're our first loves. They're our first, like we connect with Mum in the womb, and then Dad is our first, or whoever the male figure is the first male love, is that connection there. And if, of course my parents love me. I'm a mum. Like, of course we love our kids.
Yeah.
Consciously, of course my parents love me, but my little girl in me used to believe like, well, no, because Dad used to make me walk to school when Mum would talk about the man who drives around in the white van all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting.
Be unsafe. And my dad's a police officer. So I would create the story of, well, Daddy obviously doesn't care because he's a copper. So he should know that when we were kids, it was like the pedophiles drive the white vans and offer you candy. Well, this is definitely like after the divorce. I don't really remember pre-divorce, but you see what I mean? So I'm like thinking, Dad doesn't love me. I'm not worthy, which is why every time I hustled for money, it would be spent before it's gone because I don't think I'm worthy of it. I don't trust myself with it. And that's just how it shows up like in the running world. Anyway, I fully went down a tangent with that. But
I love the tangent. And then this is why I want people to understand that it's never about the money. And I remember a very important, my dad, he's a very successful man, multi-millionaire, done very well in business, handed his business down from his dad, all that kind of stuff. And I remember him saying to me, I reckon 10 years ago, and I get it now because he's not in the best place mentally. And now I get it that he was actually asking the same question to himself. And he said to me, well, what's the exit plan? What's the goal? Like, when's enough? And I was like, well, never. Like, I want millions of houses and I want this and I want that and blah, blah. And he's like, but that's not actually what you want. And like at that time, and I didn't have like the best relationship with him. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you drive around your 250K, brand new BMW all the time. You've got the house and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't. Like, I was a single struggling mom doing business on top, working away. And now I get to this age, at the beautiful ripe age of 41, and it's like
27.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 20 plus a few years, and it's just like, yeah, like I get it now. And 4 or 5 years ago, me and Bo owned 2 houses. We did what everyone wanted you to do in society, and now our family still don't understand. It's like, please invest the money in housing. Please put your money back into Australia, do this. And I'm like, no, I do not want to be advertised down. Like, I want to live this life and have this freedom. I want to do investments and stuff like that. But for me now, it's suffocation having a house. Like, I felt stuck. And I'm listening to my brother who's like, oh no, I can't because I need to pay off my mortgage. And when I pay off my mortgage, can I add $1 million mortgage? Which, and he works in mining, unless you're winning the jackpot, you're there for like 30 years. But that's the mentality.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? Like, see, we own our house, and I look at it this way: I'm not against property. It's all how it makes you feel. There's a part of me that we've bought it and sold some property now. We have equity in this home that we're not using it. You're sitting on like it's a fucking waste, right? And so to me, it's smart. Like, it excites me to have property, but to me, I know it's long-term, slow burn. I don't want to go in short-term in it, but like digital assets light me up way more, like in crypto.
Yes.
These prized worlds where that's, again, another topic. I'm more than happy for us to open that can of worms anyway. But if you think you should do it because we've been conditioned to, then you're doing it exactly, you think, because you should. So you're trapping yourself in. And then if a mortgage makes you, like, I love that we have a mortgage. It means I can borrow the bank's money to own my own home. And I'm more than happy to own other homes and receive rental payment at passive incomes. And if that renter is shitty for paying rent, then go fucking buy a home. That's as simple as it is.
100%.
Use that strategy and how it's going to work for you. But yeah, it is all, where were we going with that? It's the beliefs that are put on us of what we should do. And if we're doing something we should do, it traps us more, which is why we're like, fuck, I need to break free. And it is, I have all the things, I should be happy. But that's not what gives you the happiness.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the main thing here. Like, everyone, like, and don't get me wrong, like my family, my mum, they have like 8 houses. They are all about the property. So you can imagine me, I've always been the black sheep anyway, so no matter what, I'm always been the black sheep. But like, for me, like, I went down, when I bought my first house, I bought my first house as a fuck you to my ex, because we were meant to buy a house together. And then 3 months later, I bought that house on my own. And that's how I've always been. That's why I said this time it's been nice, because I've kind of just sat in my, I'm not going to work harder. And then, then Bo had his one, and we were both like, I just felt so stuck. But I felt stuck because I was living someone else's dream. It wasn't mine. I didn't want the damn house, and I'll never forget how I felt when I bought that house as the fuck you. And then I got in the house the day that I moved in, and I remember going in the house, and it was like big and empty. I hadn't got all the furniture and just crying and being like, this is meant to be the most happiest moment of my life. But I wanted my family in here. Like, I wanted the partner, and I wanted to have like the dinners and the wine and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I got the house and it's empty. And it wasn't until Bo made the house a home. It wasn't really until he came into it. And then it felt good. Then it felt beautiful. Before then, it was just like 4 walls and because energetically, like, I did it for the wrong reasons.
It is. Well, because exactly, it all comes down to childhood conditioning, which is what you help clients break through. I help you break through it, but we tailor it to money. And it's not even just a childhood condition. It's a childhood conditioning, but it's a generational, because we only got conditioned based off what our parents were conditioned as a child, based off what their parents were conditioned as a child. And that's what we're doing. We're here to break it. But yeah, we grow up being like, well, buying a house is smart. But the minute you get a mortgage, you're like, fuck, stressed, paying a mortgage for the rest of my life. Like, we think it's all based off these beliefs that aren't actually in alignment. Look, if my parents were really fucking happy and had all the freedom in the world and they told me to buy houses, I would definitely do it from a different energy, because I saw the outcome I saw was definitely not that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just property.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it.
I don't know. I know you have more questions, but I want to talk about how you said, like, what the free, like, what it doesn't actually buy you the happiness, like the exit plan, the exit strategy. I don't know. We can talk more on that, because that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was like, what is the exit strategy? What is next? And I was like, I don't know. And then it wasn't until probably in the last year 2 years, when we left from Australia and moved to Bali. And I was like, oh my God, this was amazing. Like, this was energetically amazing. All of a sudden, and money-wise, the best we've been. And I gained energy. I felt so stuck in Australia. And guess what I was doing? I was spending more money to try and feel better about myself and do more things. And like, when COVID happened, let's go back to COVID. When COVID happened, holy shit, it was the best time for us. Literally, other people were like, worst time. For us, absolutely amazing. And there was for 2 reasons here. And it really came down to connection. So when I was like, cool, everyone's losing their jobs, and I worked oil and gas, then I was like, everyone's losing their jobs, I'm going to go into debt with the rest of the world. I don't care. Like, I was excited. I was like, I get to teach my kids how to do business planning and all this kind of stuff. I'd already planned everything. I was going to go back to being a personal trainer online. Like, I booked it all out, right? That's not what happened. What happened was I got shipped away for 6 weeks and had to go out for 6 weeks onto oil and gas, blah, blah, I used to be a territory roster. So that happened. Well, what happened from that? Very similar to the conversation where you said you audited your accounts. I was like, all of a sudden, we had so much money. And why? Because we couldn't go out and spend it. We couldn't go to restaurants. And I was like, I was sitting there going, why have we got so much money in the bank account? Like, what the hell's going on? And then it clicked. All of a sudden, us and as a family connected way more, because we were eating at home. We were playing games. We were back to being how humans were before social media and before technology. And I loved it. It was a true intentional game changer for us. And that's when we made the house a home. We spent money on like making it feel nice because we had to spend so much time in there. And I think that was the start of like okay, you're just wasting money to make you feel a certain way. Well, what if you actually dealt with what was really going on? And then, like I said, then a few years later, my dad was like, what's the exit plan? And then the exit plan from that was, well, we went to Bali, then we went to Australia, and now to Dubai, and now we're in Dubai and we get to travel. And the exit plan now is just like to build a legacy for my kids to go and take over so that I create something for them so then they can go into it if they want to and to show them what's possible. That's my main thing. And now I feel like at this stage of my life, everything has just become magnetic, easy. But because I've had to do so much work on the unconscious programming, that money was hard. And it was only last year when I did hypnotherapy, when I was on the bike with Bora, and I was like, everything in my life is fucking hard, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't get success unless it's hard. And I remember being in ice bath and I'm like, you can do hard shit and blah, blah. And I was like, but imagine if it could be easy. And I was installing hard.
You were installed. Because that's all. When we're born into scarcity and lack, you have to work hard. And if you want more, work harder because rich people are greedy and they're just lazy because they hire other people to do the things when you can just do it yourself, or work harder, save the money, but then you're costing time. And true, wealthy people buy time. Definitely. And I've learned that. Like I've hit a point where, I'm even at a point where when it gets so good, even though I still have bigger financial goals, I'm like, but I have this time and I haven't more than enough money. Like, holy shit, here I am thinking I needed the multi-millions in the bank before I could feel like this. But now it's like, that's going to come anyway as a byproduct because I know I already feel like that because I've changed my beliefs. Like, I truly believe now, the less I work, the more money I make.
Yes. Oh my God. Same. And you've proven that. That's what's happened. You've also proven that. Same thing with me. I've also proven that, like, the less I work, when I was like, 1 week when we first moved to Dubai, I was so sick. I was so ill and I couldn't work. And we had 3 people sign up that week and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And I did not work. Like, I was like, I think I just need to be sick more often. Like, it's working for me.
In the moment, we don't.
I take that back, universe. I didn't mean that, okay? I'm totally loving being healthy and stuff and it being easy. Thank you. I got blessed.
All of that. So, but we should preface this that it's not just about wherever you're at. If you're in a position where you actually need more money, there's a level of hustle, but the word hustle's got a bad rap on it now because, like, if you want flow, you can't have flow without the ebb. So ebb and flow. So the ebb is the hustle. We have hustle, but you get, and there are times like I'm about to enter like a 3-month run. So I could like, there are those times we have to do that. So I guess I don't want people to be delusional because I definitely have been that in my network marketing business was, I can now I have just relax and more calm, but I never actually worked. So another reason why I would have felt like I can get ahead. I kept feeling capped. So we worked hard. There's a level of working hard, but we don't have to work harder for more.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just changing that wording and stuff. And yes, there's sprints. There's seasons and sprints in business. Yes. And I always say this. At the moment, I'm about to go to surgery next month and I'll be having a low period for a month. I won't be working, and so we go. But then before then, like a couple months ago, it was full on because we were hiring and hiring and hiring. And again, to, more people we hired, the less that we had to be working in the business, the team was doing its thing. And so, there's always sprints and you're right. Like, I don't want people to be delusional and thinking, I can just be flowing and it's abundant and I'm magnetic. You still got to work. There's still like a level of energetic work in that as well, Yeah.
Still shit. Like, you can't just sit on the rock with your eyes closed.
Maybe.
But if you want it quicker, you definitely sit on the rock and do the shit. Do what needs to be done.
100%. All right. So what do you think? So what challenges have you overcome to be where you are today?
I love that because you actually prepped me with this question. I was like, this space in this box is not big enough for me to... And then I'm like, how specific? This is such a general question. I don't even know how to answer that because I do know how to answer that. But it depends on what area. Like, depends. So
pick one that you think was like one of the challenging moments that maybe you thought, holy fuck, like how am I going to be able to get out of this? And then you got out of that. And then you seen light at the other end.
Do you know what? One of the biggest, it's when Daniel and I, it actually was my second heartbreak. So my beautiful husband, we've been together 15 years, but we've broken up 3 times, right? Because we were the toxic, I was insecure. He was the guy's guy, never actually wanted a girlfriend. So obviously I made him fall in love with me with my willpower. So he broke my heart the first time when we were like 8. I was like 18. But the second time I got back together and like my heart was broken again. It was like, you know, when you've gone through heartbreak, it's fucking hard. And this is when it was just to me massive evidence that I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of love. But it was, in that moment, I had already just started my online business. So I was already changing my environment, like the people I was surrounding myself with. And I remember there was a good 6 months where I decided like, no, I'm going to like love myself enough to have a standard. So this is before I did all the healing. That was like 3 years later, like the full proper like mummy and daddy love me healing. But it was the turning point where I was like, I can either stay here and stay like heartbroken and longing for his affection and love and waiting for him to message me, you know, booty call me because, you know, that's what we did. And it was does this make sense? Like I had to decide. I decided, no, I actually want freedom and I want to feel good and I want someone who to actually love me for me. Like I didn't know that I had to do deeper work, but it was just enough to change. And in that moment, I set my standards higher. I set my standards higher of who I communicated with, who I talked to, like the boys I would go on dates with. I showed up better for my health. Like I would be out partying and bendering every weekend, you know, as we now know, to numb all of our pain. So I feel like that really was the first evidence to show me that like I'm in control of myself. Like I can change my state.
Yes.
And and look, proof on this is we did come back. He came back. And I actually started seeing this other guy that I really liked, but Daniel came back and I was like, but Daniel's mate, he's the one. And the thing, he came back and he's like, I'm going to stop smoking weed and I'm going to stop, I'm going to be better, like all of this. And he never did. And I think we broke up again because I was like, that time I broke his heart. So I wasn't actually that sad about it. So I'm like, you did it twice before. But because he's like, you're not letting me be good enough. I'm like, that's because you came in saying one thing and you're not doing it.
Yes.
And I'm going to withstand it now. Then we broke up. And the happily ever after is 3 months later, like after his heartbreak, we got back together. We kind of both grew up and we're like, okay, we both had that was a really big turning point. And one of the things I did is, you know, when we get told this, I sat down and literally wrote out what I wanted in a man, like what I wanted in a relationship, how I wanted to feel, what I wanted from like how did I want a partnership to be like, not that I needed a man that I had myself, but that would be the bonus.
Yes, yeah. Again, the work, the inner work and understanding what we want, where we're going to put our time and energy, what are you going to accept, what are you going to accept and what aren't you?
Yeah. Trying to think of like some other, actually, here's a really fucking good one to share. Like I forget the most like traumatic ones, you know?
Because you're healed. You're healed now. That's why it's not affecting you anymore. You're out.
So, and this is actually, I think this is so perfect. So that first one was more so me and myself and like relationships. Then it says when Daniel's sister died. So when did she die? January 2021.
It's one thing to have a business or even the best product or service, but let's be real, when no-face Jackie32 jumps on Instagram throwing those nasty comments and you make it mean something about you, it doesn't matter how good your business is, you will crumble. That's why you need us.
Welcome to We Breathe Success, the ultimate experience for aspiring business owners, entrepreneurs and coaches who are ready to break through to the next level.
Hi, I'm Kirsty Waddingham.
And I'm Bo Drury.
We're not just any mindset business mentorship. We are the world's best when it comes to mindset, breakthrough, and transformation.
Our approach combines breakthrough breathwork, powerful mindset techniques, manifestation, and strategic business coaching, setting you up for each week for success and action.
If you're truly serious about unlocking explosive growth, you're in the right place.
Success starts with one essential foundation, your mindset. Without it, even the best business strategies will fall apart.
That's why we go deeper than traditional coaching. We offer advanced biohacking and mindset reprogramming.
Your network is your net worth, and now you have access to ours. With all of this, success isn't just a possibility, it's your only option.
We're here to help you break through your old limits, step into extraordinary success, and create unstoppable momentum for growth. We cover it all: mindset, somatic strategy, community, and connection.
So are you ready to be the leader, visionary, and powerhouse that you were meant to be? Click the link below. Let's book a call.
I was born a year later. So fuck COVID. Then she passed away. So tragic loss, died in a car crash after she actually left our house. So that was really hectic. And like it was fucked up. It was so fucked up. And so that was the end of January. And I remember driving on the freeway. So Mitchell Freeway, driving north. So you know what I'm talking about. And the sun, so it was a February, beautiful sunny February day. And it was probably the first time I actually felt a little bit of like lightness. Also, I was just going through my second miscarriage at the time too. So that was kind of like shunned over by the bigger lot. So lots was going on, but I was sitting there and I literally had this sort of like, I've been wanting to start my own business. I want to start my own coaching business. And it was almost like, her name's Kimmy. So if anyone's wondering why I can't have that nickname, because it'd just be weird. Daniel's like, you can't be Kimmy because that's literally his name. But it was like this shining light. She was there with me and I was like, what have I got to lose? I could fucking die on this road right now. I could die tomorrow. Like my life could be taken away from me. Kimmy's was, you know, and I just have to have trust and faith that it's going to work out. Yes. And that's when I actually launched my one-on-one coaching business. I started coaching one-on-one with money. So this was about a year before Wealthy as Fuck. A year and a bit before Wealthy as Fuck was actually born. So that was, I felt like what she gave me in that massive loss, it gave me a lot of trust in myself, because you just never know when your time's up.
Well, you seem like, you know, that was a perfect example of like, you know, someone was just there and then gone. Like, what am I waiting for? And that dream of yours in your head, that was there way before that day. That was just like, that was the like, wait, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? It doesn't work. Like, okay, I'm going to learn some lessons. Like, awesome. Like, at least I'm alive to try.
Exactly. Or else like you're going to die anyway. So, you don't even get like, you're holding on to it. And it's hectic. It's a bit morbid, but like I actually put this in a book that I was a co-author and it's like, don't wait till someone dies to follow your dream.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. 100%. It's the same thing as like, you know, at funerals, like everyone gets together at a funeral that haven't seen each other for years. And I'm like, it's sad that we have to wait for someone to die in order for us to connect again, you know?
I know. And like we had so many, as a side note, after she passed and she's half Maori. So it was a beautiful big, like, the cultural ceremony. Like I love, other than the sadness, it was very beautiful. Yeah. And then within that time, we had another 4 deaths all on Daniel's side in like a year. His grandparents did us, and then his cousin she was sick. And holy shit, I'll tell you what, like the most beautiful thing of all the funerals is like we had so much family time, but it's like it shouldn't take.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be a wedding.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You'd rather be crying for the celebration than the celebration of someone's life. Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to share this because when you have those big moments, is when I have other things now, I'm like, I'm a human. I'm scared of what if this fails? What if but I'm like, what have I got to lose? What have I got to lose? And I literally just did a launch literally this week. And there's been probably for something else, like I'm bringing out something new and little, like a smaller thing to my main program. And it's been quite crickety, which is not like it. But I'm like, I could have just not done it, or I could learn from it. And I've already in 2 days decided how I'm going to change it and it's going to be so much better. But if I didn't, you know what I mean? Like that's where the lesson keeps carrying through.
100%. And then also, you know, people are changing so fast. So what people need, like, you know, a couple months ago is maybe like now, like, no, now I need this, you know. And another thing is humans don't actually know what they need. Like there's been many times I've gone to a coach and I'm like, they're like, oh, where are you stuck? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I need you to tell me where I'm stuck. Like, I'm just like stuck. Like, just help me get unstuck. And like most of the time, like clients don't know what's happening. They just know that they don't want to be where they are right now. And that's why you need to go with a coach so they can see your blind spots. They'll be talking. I'll be like, that's not the truth, and they'll be like, what? The other day in our container, like, someone mentioned something that was going on in her life. And I said to her, that it comes down to you, like, trying to keep your story to yourself because you don't want to hurt your family. And then someone jumped on my thing and was like, yeah. And then they jumped in and said, like, in our messaging and said, like, you triggered the fuck out of me, blah, blah, like, holy shit. Like, now I know, like, yep, I'm like holding back because I'm holding, like, my mom has told me many times, like, don't say this, don't tell that story. So then how can we be like our full expression if we're constantly getting told to be something else,
Exactly. Oh, love of this. See, it's not about money, guys. The money comes when you push shit out.
The money comes when you feel safe to hold on to the money, when you've reprogrammed your belief system. Like, if your belief system is that you're going to work hard for money, well, guess what you have to do? You have to work hard for money. And and you'll never be enough. Like, all of that, it will never be enough because you will always be broke no matter what, because that's your mindset. That's the nervous system feels safe in the chaos, and we say it a million times over, and this is why it all needs to be done. So I've got a question for you. So what do you think is some of the hardest lessons, or just choose one, in the business that you've had? Like, one of the hardest lessons, like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming, or I just blew a lot of money and didn't get a great return, or...
Do you know what? Well, it's definitely been more different things at different stages, but like I'll talk about most recently is there's still an ego. Like, we still have an ego. If I didn't have a strong ego for significance and to succeed, I wouldn't push my business so hard, because what we have to understand too is we're, as business owners, yes, we have an impact goal and we want to help people, but we don't get out of bed to help people. We get out of bed to help ourselves, right? So there's always we have a selfish and selfless that's in duality all the time.
Yes.
But my biggest thing right now that like find hard is when I know I have something that's going to change lives, does it change my life? And I have, I guess, an expectation that people are going to come and people are going to want it or sign up to it and whatnot, and then they don't, or maybe this just needs a bit more time. That's really fucking hard, because old me would just stop and give up, because I'd have that little hit and be like, not fucking worthy of it. See, Kim, you're a failure. Now, like, it still hurts. I am human. Like, it still hurts, as in it's frustrating, it's inconvenient. Time is still of the essence to me. Like, time is a valuable thing. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting time. But what was the second part of the question? Because that's the challenge.
Yeah, just like the lessons that came from it,
The lesson is like, okay, tweak it. Like, you thought, just because I think it's need, it doesn't mean it's what they need. So, like, how can I change it and tweak it so that it is what people need? Do you know what I mean?
100%, yes. And I say this to my clients all the time. Like, have you tested the market? Have you asked? There's been multiple times where we've done things like, I've put it out there like, hey, if we did this, would you be interested to get feedback from our community or from my audience, whatever? And if we don't get many people saying yes, whatever, then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, because just like you said, just because you think that this is going to be great, it doesn't always mean it's going to be great. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the content. It's just that maybe it's like a messaging problem. Maybe it was an audience thing. Maybe it's the wrong time of the year to do that. Like, there's so many factors. Like, I learned the hard way when we ran our events. Do you know how many times that we fucked up and did an event on grand final day? Couldn't understand why people weren't turning up. On Father's Day was another one, school holidays. And so now, before we do any events, I literally chat GPT, is there anything going on in this time slot? Anything that could cross here. And I learned that the hard way. Like, I remember one time, one of our events, we had hardly any people. And I was like, this doesn't even make sense for this. And then, then it was grand final. Then I was like,
which grand finals this weekend of us.
I do. And the reason why I know that is because someone else just said, hey, she had an event on and there are not many people coming. And I said, it's school holidays. And someone else said, it's grand final. I said, you got a double whammy. That's what it is.
And if you're in Perth, you got the show. And
it was a Perth. That was another thing. It was the wrong show. Yes, school holidays and grand final. That was exactly what it was. Because she's like, how come the last 3 events I had so many people? And then I said, that's why. I said, don't worry, we've done it. now you'll know to check every single holiday.
But we can't hold on to it. That's one thing. Like if I hold on to the shame, because what it is, what we shame ourselves, we guilt ourselves, we resent. It's something like that. When we hold on to that, that's what blocks our aura, our capacity. So this is where people think like, what are money blocks? I don't even like saying it because I call it money baggage. Like you hold on to baggage and you've probably got a heap if you haven't cleaned it all up yet from childhood. But I could be like, holy shit, how embarrassing. Like, Kim, you're a failure. That didn't work. And I could, if I kept those emotions and held on to them, it's like I've added them into my backpack. It's the baggage, right? That block or that stops more. It takes up capacity. So we all have the same amount of capacity, but everyone has different shit still in their capacity, and like, which is emotional stuff, right? So if I don't clear that out, like more money, more abundance. So abundance, bliss, elation, like all those really high vibration, abundant, wealthy feelings, which is what we're fucking chasing, right? They want to come in, but they can't because there's too much resentment or shame or guilt in the way.
Yeah.
So I think that's like another deeper layer to look at it as well. It's like,
100%.
So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think, again, that's why we always talk about, like, you know, it's never about the money. It's always about the energetics behind it and what it means. And, you know, especially when it comes to how many people, like we go to events, like how many people in this room would be okay telling us what's in your bank account right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes people go like, oh, no. And there's two reasons. One, well, I don't want to tell them in case someone steals from me.
Yeah.
Or two, I've got nothing in there and people are going to think that I'm worthless because we attach our worth to money.
Yes. We attach, people think self-worth equals net worth.
Yes. Yeah. So through your whole like money journey, what do you think has been one of the biggest successes you've had? Like, holy shit, like I just hit the jackpot, or I just had like a massive success in my business. What was one of the biggest success moments or celebrations in your business?
So I would take it from the business I'm running now, like with my money coaching. Do you know what? It was when the first big one was when I was at a point, Isla, who's my daughter, she was 8 months old. It was October 3 years ago. So we're coming up to 3 years. I was sitting in my office and like I was doing a little bit of one-on-one. My other business, my network marketing business, was paying me, but just dwindling down because I wasn't doing anything right. But we're in a point of Danny was hard into his grief-induced alcoholism. And, you know, he was just like, he was working just enough and he was being a fucking fantastic dad. Like he was putting everything into being a dad, but he was still drinking to numb his anxiety, right? And I hit a point where I was like, I don't want to leave you, but fuck, like I can't keep saying you've got to stop. I'm enabling it by sticking around. He needs to strip back. He needs to stop being a dad and stop going to work and actually fucking heal. Like,
yes,
go to like he needed that support. And he wouldn't do it because he didn't want to not be a bad dad and try and be, anyway, we're in that point and I was sitting there and I was just like, if we were to separate the money, I was only making about $4,000 a month because I was stopping my one-on-ones because, side note, if you have a baby and you think you can one-on-ones in the fucking nap time, even on a perfectly scheduled nap time, yeah, you're laughing, right, mums, And I'm like,
oh, that's so funny.
Tell you what, I'm ambitious. Anyway, so I hit this point where I'm like, $4,000 a month. So I dropped down as the lowest my income had been in a while. And I was like, if I was to move out or we'd separate for a bit, so we took it seriously, I cannot pay this mortgage. I cannot sustain this because, that's before tax, right? Mm-hmm. It was in that moment that I was like, what can I do to make my business And that's when I packaged up what I did and created Wealthy as Fuck. That's when it was born because I was like, how can I take what I've learned and help other people and be the mama and whatnot? And like, because if I don't want to separate, but if that was to ever happen, how can I still be, how can I still look after myself and my baby, right?
Yeah.
And within that, within October launched, November, December, January, February was my first 10K month from it. So within months, it hit 5 figures and then it's grown and grown and grown.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was like a really hard time. That's the win that came out of it.
I actually love that because, like, I was actually going to ask you, like, what was the challenge that shaped you, and I think that was probably the moment, like, and like now, where you're sitting at now, like you've got your house paid off. Is that right?
The other one, we've now upgraded. So we had to, borrow a bit more from yeah.
But how amazing. So like how phenomenal to be at your age, to have that paid off and then go and get a new place like that. That alone is just like phenomenal because, when we get a house, we pretty much in our mind expect that we are not going to live out our mortgage. Like that's I think also the mentality, unless you're in that property market and you start using equity, buying Airbnbs and all the things. But like, in general, people buy a house, like we're just going to think 30 years, that's the norm. And to be able to do that in your position with all of those challenges that were going on, still be able to show up for your clients, still be able to put yourself in such a beautiful financial position, then be able to show the people that coming from where you came from, well, that's a remarkable person because it would have been easier for you to stay where you are because it's the comfortable and it's not comfortable breaking change. It is not comfortable.
I could just say living week to week, like my family love my siblings. No one, I would give my siblings and family like free tips. Do you think they ask me? I even tell them, but it's like that you can't, it doesn't sink and land. But they're still doing, you get the mortgage and okay, now I'm going to spend 30 years paying off living week to week. That's what I would have been stuck in as well. But like where I've come, I'm that black sheep, right? And I had so much fear of, if I do this, my family's not going to love me because I'm not following what they're doing, right? We have to go through all of that. But like to stay in Perth, I'm a big believer. I want to move, right? But Daniel fucking loves Perth. So I've got the opposite here. He's the opposite to me.
It's such a boy thing. I swear to God, boys.
He's like, I don't even need to go anywhere else. I'm like, I feel you. I love how, actually, especially coming back from Europe, I love how clean and modern we are. But the money stuff, he doesn't get the money stuff. This is my role. Like, this is my life. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, look, for us, if you know, you know. But like for us, if you told me 3 years ago I'd be paying 7 figures for a family home, first of all, I'd be like, I'd have ocean views. But I'd be like, I can't fucking do that. 3 years later, can afford a 7-figure home. Unfortunately, in this market, that does not give you ocean views. So I'm still a little bit sad out about that. But this is not the forever home. So I will get my ocean views.
Well, you're like, hey, I'm going to get it all right. I've got the 7-figure home. Yeah. If I'd been like, 10 years beforehand, I would have got the fucking ocean views. Damn you, COVID, driving everything through the freaking roof.
I know. But that, whatever, right? This is why if I'm going to stay here in this system in Perth, that I've got to make it work for me. If I can't convince my husband to move country, I just need to buy a property or rent somewhere. Like I'm just going on an extended holiday.
You just need to have a business in Dubai and then move everything out into Dubai and have a great life.
Oh, I definitely want to. Yes, Dubai. I can't visit Dubai.
Yeah, Dubai is like literally like, and I swear to God, and this is the reason, again, the reason why we moved to Dubai is because we went from Australia to Bali, made a lot of money in the different energy. But then I felt stuck again. I was like, I almost feel like I can't, now I've got lifestyle down packed. I can go to massages whenever I want. I've got the gym there, everything's accessible, all the things. But I was like, but no one in my position that I was hanging out with was doing multi-millions. And I needed to be around that. And I wasn't finding that in Bali. So I was like, we need to go to Dubai. And at the time, it was scary. It was really scary. I was like, like you're just going to another level. I was also like, I've got friends over there that will blow 10 grand on lunch like it's nothing. Like, I can't live up to that. Like, these are all the things 6 months ago that was going through my head. And I remember when we first got here, and like our breakfast, our first meal was like 300 Australian dollars. And I was like, holy fuck. Like,
that's the thing. You don't need to be a multi-millionaire in Bali unless you're going to build resorts and stuff, because you can, if we moved to Bali now, we would be living like the multi-millionaires, but that's what caps you. And if
that's exactly right.
If you're happy there, this is what I said, but if you're happy there and you're 100% satisfied, by all means, awesome.
For sure.
I'm like, well, no, that I know that wouldn't be, and it's not coming from it. It's not enough. I'm good, but I know there's more.
And that's it. And that's
like $40 of strawberries over there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, again, this was also my belief system, which I've really just figured out. I figured out this year, and I figured out when we moved to Dubai. And then now I've done a lot of work on this. And this has been the last 3 months. I've been really deep diving into my money story again, because what I discovered was, go back to like when we went traveling for Christmas last year. We were traveling. It was probably a $50,000 trip. Easy. Couldn't even tell you. I don't even know, to be honest, but it was over 50 grand with all the accommodations for that. And then we thought, okay, cool. We're going to come back to Australia. Let's build up the bank accounts again and get ourselves on track. All right. And then I was like, okay, cool. Well, holy shit. We didn't like staying where we were staying. We were with both parents. It was just like, it was all good for a little bit, but then like, he's got tension from his childhood. Like all these things are coming up energetically, wasn't feeling nice. Me, him, and Harvey sleeping in one room. All these things were going on, right? Then all of a sudden, there was stuff going on in the business. We lost $20,000 overnight. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was like, we should not, like, how do we have all of this money beforehand? Like now, like we're going downhill really, really rapidly. Then after 2 more weeks of something else going on, I was like, oh yeah, I need to go. We actually have to be out of Australia. This is like crazy. So I booked the tickets the next day to leave, just out of the blue. I was like, see you later, family, we're going. And everyone's like, what do you mean? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, I'm out. Like, I'm done. The moment we got back into Bali, I had someone contact me and say, hey, we owe you this amount, blah, blah, would you take 5,000? And I was like, we're back. Literally, hadn't even got into the hotel. I said to Bo, are you fucking kidding me? And then that happened. And then that's when I was like, nah. And then I realized that I'm always comfortable. So I always can make money, whatever money or what the lifestyle is, I can make it plus some more. But then I found it really hard to get the fuck past that. And that's when I was like, okay, cool. Now I've got a new programming. So the last 3 months, I've been working on breaking through that programming. And then this month, highest cash month without doing an event. Like this year, we have not done any events, and that's always been the lead magnet. Didn't start off like that. It's only in the last 2 years it was like that. But this month was like, it was all the energetics. It was all the breaking through of my conditioning of the, I can make money for my environment a little bit more. I'm always never go without, but I always don't have like a multi-cash injection. And then all of a sudden, there, because it did the work.
Yeah. It's the evidence. It's like,
it's the evidence. Nice. 100%.
Yeah.
What do you think? What would be the biggest tip that you could leave everyone today that is sitting in a situation where they're feeling the money's not working for them? They are still living paycheck to paycheck. What would be your advice to them? What would you say?
I always get asked this, and I won't just give one because everyone wants a quick fix. And this is why I have 4 key pillars, right? You need the mindset, you need to do the money management, the manifestation, and multiply, like getting your money.
Yes.
Manifestation and multiply, like the byproduct of when you reprogram your subconscious and your beliefs, so hardwire your subconscious to support beliefs that support wealth, right? Manage your money the right way, you'll start manifesting more. You'll start being able to multiply money. So what I'm going to do, like the hardcore truth is, if you want real change, if you want permanent change, and everyone wants a quick fix, but if you want the quick fix to stay around, like do the work. I call it my Think Rich method. It's a 3-step process where you literally reprogram your beliefs that mum and dad taught you. Okay. So it's not this surface conscious level stuff. It's deep. Once you do it and once you learn that process, like, fuck me, it just opens up everything. But what you can do physically, people, and that's the feminine energetics, right? Then the masculine comes in, and this is what people want. They're like, tell me what to do, Kim, tell me what to do. So I'll give you not one, but I'll give you a few things you can start doing with your money. Because right now as humans, you have to understand, if you can control outside of you, so you can control your budgeting, it's going to make you feel better. What I'm giving you will make some change. It will make a permanent change, but it won't give you the full thing, because my blueprint, which is the money management, I need to know your numbers. Like when you run it through the system, you get it to you. But what you can do is have a separate income account for you're going to have multiple bank accounts, but you have a separate income account. So I'm just going to talk to whether you're a business owner or employed. Let's just talk about your life money, which is your wage. Okay. The same principles apply to your business, but you get paid, have a separate income account. Don't have a card attached, or chop up the card if it comes with a card, because the only way money comes out of that is you transfer it and you allocate it out. This puts you in personal power. This stops direct debits, like stop having direct debits unless they're the only way. Because if I'll just set up the bank to direct debit this, you don't trust yourself. You're trusting the bank to organize your money over yourself. So people have asked my clients, like, hey, Kim, can you invoice me instead of me paying direct debit now? And I was like, sure, but it's going to cost you more because it's my time. They're like, okay, cool, I'll stick with the direct debit. That's fine. But do you see how like there's direct debits that they're your only option, but when it's not your only option, like I always manually pay my phone bill and stuff like that, it's because I'll pay it. I don't want other companies taking money from my account until I've organized it and I've been in personal power with it. So anyway, separate income account, right? And then the second thing you're going to do, well, once you get paid, the first thing you do before anything else, and technically if you have it in a separate account, there could be nothing else coming out but you transferring, you save first. You need to work out what you can save based on, and this is why there's 7 steps to setting up this blueprint. And then once we have it, it just runs like clockwork. But work out what you can save. The principle is to save first. Pick a small percentage just to start. See what I mean? I'm giving you more cookie cutter advice because I don't know your individual circumstance. But save first. You are your biggest asset. Okay, you're going to pay your bills. You're responsible. You're going to put food on the table. You're fucking hungry. You're not going to starve yourself, you know? Hopefully not. But save first, right? And that energetically, your behavior, your physical behavior of doing that is going to support a belief of I am good enough. I am enough. This feels good. It doesn't feel like all my hard work is just going to the bills and the back, like the mortgage, etc. So I don't even know how many tips that was, but you can get started with that.
I love that. And you know what? It's very, very interesting when it comes down to that whole bank account thing. And I think especially with like business owners, how many business owners just the money comes in, the money goes out, they have no idea, it's just out the same account. And then there's just, no idea where all their money's going. So I think that's amazing. I did your blueprint and stuff like that as well. So, and I think also for people that have money problems or like money issues, putting it down. Like I remember when I first saw that thing, you're like, okay, put down all the money that you were earning, blah, blah. And then I was so disconnected from my money that when I had to go and get those statements, I felt sick for the amount of money that was coming in and that I just was going. And going where? Like, where the fuck was this going, And it was like, I think deep down also, I didn't want to know.
You didn't want to know. No, because it's like, it's going to prove us that we're a failure. It's going to prove that we can't hold on to money. But we have to do it. You have to face the dragon.
Yes.
Dragon, face it, whatever the fucking saying is. We have to do it. We only have to do it once. And we think we spend years
avoiding
and paying because we're so face the dragon. Facing the dragon takes like a few hours if you're doing an audit of all your transactions. But once you face it, you never have that dragon's dead. It's extinct, mate. Like you never have to dragon again.
I know. And I was like, it happens all the time. Even with like other things, you're like, just deal with it and then take it off your list because it's playing in your unconscious mind at the same time, all the things you need to do, and it's weighing you down energetically. That's why people, when they say to me, like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm this, I'm like, no, you're not. Like, what are you putting off? What did you put off to be in that overwhelmed situation? Like, that's all it is, or procrastinating. I'm like, you're procrastinating as a crock of shit. It's just a reason to keep you stuck. Like, you say, oh, I'm procrastinating. I can stop it. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, people come to my coaching call. I'm procrastinating on this. I'm like, okay, so stop. And she's like, well, that's great advice. I'm like, well, it's just true. Just do the damn thing. And that's my slogan, do the damn thing. Do the damn thing. You don't procrastinate. Don't get overwhelmed because you've done the damn thing. You know what I mean? So, again, money, energetics. It's all tied in. I think this is another thing. People think that it's one thing or the other or whatever. But, for everyone listening today that you know now from even hearing this from a money coach, someone who has been there and had to reprogram her own outdated systems to be where she is now, to having a 7-figure home, and having that money coming in, going traveling, like, you just came back from, was it Italy? Like,
yeah,
around Europe and like traveling, and probably like, a few years ago, you probably never thought that would even be possible to have a brand new home and to be able to go traveling and do the things.
We bought the home in March. We settled in March and we went to Europe in the May, and that was a $40,000 cash holiday. I wanted it to be less because everyone loves to still I still wanted 5-star experience with deals. Like, who fucking doesn't? You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the places that give you like 2 for one? Like, where's the happy hour? Like, give it to me. I'm all
Yeah.
for it. I love my 5-star resort with my $2 bintang if I'm in Bali.
Yes.
Like, give me
Yeah.
both. It's like the bogan in me still wants the cheap, like
The discounts.
yeah. But I do it not from like a needy scarcity of like, fuck yeah, how cool is that? Anyway, I wanted to spend less, but it ended up being 40 grand. Now imagine being in a position where we don't use the word budget in my world, if you're in my world, but say we budgeted 25 grand for a 5-week Europe trip. And we probably could have done it. But it ended up being 40 because we wanted the convenience, we wanted private cars, we wanted XYZ, we had a toddler in tow. You know, I wanted to eat at nice places. We wanted convenience. But it didn't affect anything. It didn't sacrifice any other funds we needed. Like we had the money there because I have a management plan, the way I organize my finance, the way I feel about money. It's like, cool, I can always make more. More is coming. It's no big deal. All Kim would have stressed the fuck out, maxed out credit cards. Like, and this was like, cool, this is an experience. I don't want to go home regretting the experience. Like it was my choice or our choice to go on this holiday.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah. So we could do that. And then now, I swear we've done something else this year, but fuck, I don't remember. This has been a big fun, like big spending year, but in a good way. I've bought lots of crypto, so that's been fun. About to buy another home. Apparently I should slow down. But I was like, nah.
Nah. Who needs to slow down? Slow down when you're dead, mate. That's when you can slow down. That's awesome. Like how incredible for you to be where you are today. And like, thank you so much for like coming on and explaining like, you know, your life. And I think it's awesome when you have a money coach. And I think there's again with any type of coaching container you go on, for someone who's gone down the same journey as you, who had to overcome your own shit, did not come from success and money and woken up in this like planet life of brilliance. Like you've had to work hard to break through all of those ceilings and limitations and belief systems to be where you are today. So thank you so much for coming in and like, showcasing all the ins and outs about you. For anyone that is listening to this, please reach out to Kim. We'll have all of her information in the show notes. She has an incredible program called Wealthy as Fuck. I mean, the name alone sounds amazing. And it is a good program. I've been in it myself. She is fantastic at what she does. And she's just such a light in this world of like reframing money, and it doesn't have to be scary. And she's debunking all of that as well. And so reach out to her. Thank you so much for coming on the show, babe. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Awesome. Big love. Bye, guys.